Hello.
Yo.
Jackson Watts here for his take on Israel. Jackson, it's good to see you, buddy.
I just hope the good guys win. That's my take.
They're fighting the good fight.
They always do. Sure. That's how wars work. It's how you know God's real.
That's true.
And he loves the Taliban. That's what we've learned in recent years.
Dude, I've thought about that a lot, the whole Taliban thing so much, because like people in America will make anti-gun arguments saying that like you couldn't possibly, if the U.S. government became tyrannical, like you couldn't possibly beat the U.S. military with the shotguns and stuff in your basement. It's like, well, what about the fucking Taliban? Like they did it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I
Yeah,
guess we don't have the gumption that they have, and we don't have God behind us.
That's true. Yeah.
The real God.
Well, I mean, it's all the same God. But yeah, that guy, that old bag in the sky.
Yeah. I wish people would draw him more. That whole thing bothers me so much.
Yeah.
Muhammad. It's so crazy.
Dude, we've done this.
Yeah, we don't know how hot he is, but
oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
Like our second episode ever, we said that we were going to do a social experiment to see how quick we could like blow up but get canceled at the same time. With just every episode, we just drew Muhammad over and over again.
That's the podcast logo.
Yeah.
Ever evolving.
We could do that once we start.
We'd get really good at it too. By now, dude, we've done. This is like the 25th one that we've done.
Yeah, I know. We put in our 10,000 hours of drawing Muhammad.
I'm the best in the world. That's awesome.
But yeah, we could. I mean, once we start recording video for the podcast,
yeah, we'll start that.
I'm sure the cover of our episodes will most often just be screenshots of us and whoever else is in the room.
Yeah.
And we could just have like a little
we could
Muhammad
sneak
on
a
the
tiny
board,
Muhammad.
Or have the guest draw Muhammad.
Have the guest draw Muhammad.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And just collect.
That's what happens
Collect a stack of Muhammads.
when you bring a new mind into an idea. It's
right.
always
Just start
always
counting
helps.
M's.
See, yeah. Now we're cooking.
Anyways, enough about Islam. What else? What else can we discuss?
Well, we were going to talk about Israel. We were going to talk about water park.
Back to Israel. Immediately back to Israel.
You were going to tell us about your water park experience.
Yeah, I'm a big water park guy. I'm known for that mostly. That was my big thing before comedy. I was one of the leading water park managers in Southern Illinois. One of the only water park managers in Southern Illinois, but god damn it was I managing that water park.
Do they not normally have managers? They just let shit happen?
Oh, you can't do that. Shit's gonna happen if you let shit happen. Shit will happen. We need a few managers, and honestly, I hate to say it,
who's going to check the pH balance of the water, dude?
Yeah, who's going to check the pH balance? Who's going to help kick out the kids when they're misbehaving? That was most of the job, is just ruining people's summer. just being like, you can't be in the water park anymore, sorry. That was one of my first times as manager. We had this girl who kept like hitting these like boys in the pool, and she was like punching them like real aggressive and such. And I was like, you need to step out. We're going to kick you out for the day. You can come back tomorrow. It's whatever. And so we kick her out for the day. And the next day she comes back, and she has like green hair, so we knew exactly who she was obviously. And we were like, okay, just be calm, just be chill, everything's fine. And she gets into the big pool, the main pool, and she starts doing this like thing, and the lifeguard's like looking at her, and she's like dancing around in like the center of the pool, and she's like holding something in her hand, and then suddenly she starts pepper spraying the entire pool.
Shit, dude.
And like if you pepper spray a pool, it gets into the water, and then everyone in the pool is just fucked because they're just covered in pepper spray.
That's fucking
and
hilarious.
We had to evacuate the pool, and there were like babies in the pool, and we had to like pull them out, and we had to start pouring milk on these babies' faces. Which is like one of the weirdest memories I have.
Holy
is just
fuck, dude! Waterboarding a baby with milk, dude.
Milk
Well, we had to put it into the other pool so it wasn't like scared.
Were you
of
Mike
water.
Vick, dude?
So that was pretty
Holy
epic.
shit,
That was really
that's hilarious.
It was really awesome that happened. But
Classic green hair behavior, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, of course.
Typical green hair stuff right there.
If she would have stuck brunette, none of this would have happened.
Yeah. She wouldn't have even known how to get her hands on that pepper spray, dude.
That's fucking incredible. I mean, she must have, because that's such a deliberate plan. She must have woken up
Dude,
that morning and been like, "This is what I'm gonna do today."
Bro, you know what's even crazier about this story? We checked the security footage because we're like, the police had to come because it's like a mass assault of people technically.
Yeah,
it's like fucked up.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
like biological warfare.
Yeah, it's
like,
bioterrorism. It's
bioterrorism. It's literally bioterrorism.
It's I think worse than I shouldn't. I think worse than the Israel stuff.
Worse. Yeah,
But-
what are they complaining about? We got problems over here too.
Yeah.
We got green-haired bitches putting pepper spray.
No, but we check the
in
security
water parks.
footage, and we see before she enters the pool, she goes off to the side, and there's like a forest surrounding the park, right? And she goes off by the fence because it's like fenced off, and we see her mom walk to the other side of the fence and throw the pepper spray over the fence to her.
Oh, so she had an accomplice.
It was a coordinated
God.
effort with her mom as the accomplice. This girl's like 14 years old, by the way, which is like, you don't need to be doing that at 14, I don't think, but
Yeah. Allowing your daughter to do that at 14 is even
that's
wilder.
even crazier.
Yeah.
But
How much shit you
throwing
think
her-
she's stealing from the local mall?
I think her mom also had green hair, or maybe even a worse color.
Oh shit.
So it does sort of make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said
She
that
was
maybe
blue-haired?
even a worse color.
Maybe like blue or purple.
Yeah.
Man.
But that shit was crazy. That was like one of my first days there as the manager.
One of your first
It was
days.
pretty epic.
No, she went home after you guys kicked her out, and she was in the
She was
in the
plotting.
mirror at her house, like, oh, they're gonna kick me out. They're gonna kick me out of this park. I don't think so, Mom.
Dude, it's
Mom, get the pepper spray. We're going back.
It's also like the stupidest revenge because like none of the people who worked there were in the water, so it was just random fucking people that she got.
Oh yeah, she didn't get any of you.
No,
guys.
because the like lifeguard was like on the stand, like just
Yeah.
standing above, just like what?
What the fuck is
What are you
happening?
doing?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Just that moment of, I mean, I'd pay $1 million just to see that moment of recognition when he realizes that that's what's getting emptied
Yeah,
into the pool.
because originally
Oh, fuck.
he thought it was like she had like a pair of goggles in like a case, and she was like trying to open it, and he was like, I should go help her out maybe. This girl's struggling with this, and then she committed the most horrible atrocity known to man.
That is fucking amazing. That is amazing. I like to think that her mom put her up to it. Like,
That's what I like to
this
think
is what we're
too.
gonna do.
I don't know necessarily, but that's what I like to feel.
I'm genuinely
that's the-
trying to think of a worse thing to dump in in water occupied by a bunch of people.
Maybe
I
like
don't know.
naked
Shit.
dead bodies.
Yeah, like literal
Diarrhea?
literal shit.
Yeah, literal
like AIDS
shit.
blood. or
Oh, that's a
something.
good one. The chlorine
Yeah.
would probably kill that though, so I think it's fine.
Damn, but
Yeah.
chlorine can't take down pepper spray. So they really thought this through.
Yeah, they planned. She schemed for a while. You could
Yeah.
tell. That's a scientist right there.
Oh my god.
She's probably at MIT now.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen in the
Pepper
Charles.
spray and other green hairs over at MIT.
That's amazing. It's so funny because they didn't have to like explain that on a college resume. It's like, okay, let's talk about the arrest you got into when you were 14. It's like I've grown a lot since then.
Yeah.
I haven't pepper sprayed any pools.
Look, my hair's red now.
Yeah. My hair's almost normal color. God damn. That's great. And one of your first days too.
Yeah.
It's so funny to imagine your hiring manager being like, "We put you on the job, Jackson, for
Yeah.
one fucking day."
Well, like the main supervisor was there, and he's the guy who said, "You guys need to go get milk now." And we were getting the milk. By the way, we got the milk. The cops were there when we were pouring milk on this baby's face, and the cops were like, "Why are you pouring milk on a baby? You can't do that."
I love that way of expressing it. You can't do that. Like, I know we all would love to just be
Yeah, and then
pouring
I-
milk on babies.
And then I had to yell at this cop. I was like, "No, we have to pour milk on this baby right now. This baby needs milk." It's like the main thing that babies need is milk. Like everyone knows this is the thing that reminds them of their mother. It reminds them
Oh man.
of nurturing and of sustenance.
Yeah, it's babies and dudes who just OD'd on heroin. Those are who need some milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This baby needs some milk. So that was pretty epic. And then like a week later, I had another cool moment at the water park. Less cool
Do
than
tell.
that. But this lady had this baby in a floaty that wasn't approved because you can't have like an inflatable floaty because it's not safe enough. So I was like, "Can you take this baby out of the floaty? We have these other floaties we can give to you." And she was like, "No, I'm using this floaty." And I was like, "Please, can you just take the baby?" out of the pool with this floaty, and she was like, "I will kill you." She's like, "I have a gun in my car. I'll kill you." I was like, "What?" I don't understand.
Oh my god.
Why? I don't understand why this floaty's so important.
Yeah.
But I think
She was hiding pepper spray in it, dude.
Please don't make me a murderer at this water park.
Yeah, I was like, just bring pepper spray like everyone else. Jesus Christ, like, that's not cool.
Don't make me put you in the lazy river, boy.
Exactly, yeah.
Dude, that lazy river was so epic, though. I smoked so many joints in that thing. That was the main point of the water park. It was a weed operation.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Our supervisor would sell us weed.
Nice.
We'd smoke weed in the chemical room.
Nice.
Which would be sort of awkward because I'd get really blitzed and then I'd walk out of the chemical room and then there'd be some fight and I'd have to walk over to the fight smelling like weed and be like, "Hey, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
You guys need to chill out like me, okay? You guys need to calm down."
What is the worst situation you've ever had to deal with, like on the water park job or not?
Bro.
Worst situation you've ever had to deal with when you're just too high?
Well, this is a water park based story and I wouldn't say I was like too high. I was a little high, and it was an insane situation. So I feel like it sort of qualifies. But there was this time where, and some of our lifeguards are like younger. They're like 15 or 16. It's like their first job. And one of these lifeguards is like one of my neighbors, and she's like 3 years younger than me. So she was like lifeguarding there the last summer, and she's like this like Christian like girl, like very like innocent or whatever. And while she's lifeguarding the big pool, there's some stuff going on that she didn't really know how to address, you know? So she leaves after like 20, 30 minutes after the rotation's over, and the next lifeguard goes on stand. And then this lady comes up to the lifeguard and is like, "You know, there's this boy in the corner, and I keep seeing his dick." You know, and we're like, "Well, not supposed to see that at the water park." You know, so we go over there. We're like, "What's happening?" And it's sex. It's a group sex.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Foursome happening. Not foursome, but two pairs of people fucking in the corner of the water park. And our first lifeguard, she like was like traumatized by it, so she didn't react because she was like, "There's like aggressive humping in the corner, and I don't know what to do." So I walk over there, and I was like, "Hey, listen, you guys have to leave. Like, this is unacceptable. You can't do that.
You cannot fuck at the water park."
And these are children, by the way.
Yeah.
These are like 13-year-old children, and so I'm like, I don't even want to like all of us know what's going on. I don't want to talk to you guys about this necessarily. To these kids, I was like, "You just leave. This is not. I don't want to call the police on you right now because that's like, you'll be like registered sex offenders for your entire life." And like 3 of them leave, right, and 1 of them stays. And I was like, "Listen, kid, like I know you don't have anyone to fuck right now anymore, but you can't stay here." That's
funny
not.
if he proceeded to go seduce somebody else. In the
See,
water
that
park.
was the worry. That was the worry. That was why.
We need to disarm this kid.
Yeah, I was like, we need to get you out of the situation.
Make him come. He'll stop.
And he was like, you have
Holy shit.
you have no proof. And I was like, I was like, okay. I was like, first of all, no, that's not true. We have multiple witnesses. We have also security footage. That's the thing. And he still refused to leave. So we had to call his mom because he was like signed in for the day. So we call his mom and we call law enforcement to help deal with the situation also because we were like, this kid can't leave. We can't keep this kid here. And the mom comes and she's like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "Well, listen, your son was having a little bit of sex in the pool." And
Did you really say it like that?
no, not like that, but that was
A little bit of sex, just a little bit of sex.
he was
Just a
having,
little.
he was having legally too much sex in the pool,
Right.
and we had to cut that out. And now he has to leave. And she was like, "My son would never do that." And he goes up to her because at this point he's at the entrance of the park, and he's like, "I would never have sex in the pool." He's like, "You know me, Mom. I would never do that." So law enforcement's there, which is an important detail to add that law enforcement's there because they're like, "All right, let's see this footage." You know, so we go into the manager's office, and this footage is not graphic. It's like shitty cameras, but you can tell exactly what's
happening.
Yeah.
Like he looks down at himself at one point, is like adjusting. It's damning. It's really damning stuff. You know? And so we're watching this footage with this mom and this child, which I'm thinking, like, why didn't this child just fess up at this point? Like, it's making it so
now
much.
Your mom has to watch you fuck, dude.
So much worse for himself.
Crazy.
And then after like 3 minutes of us watching this, it's on times 2 speed, so it's like 6 minutes of penetration, but like 3 minutes in the office. The mom turns to him and she goes, "Steven, is that Nadia?" And he goes, yeah. And she goes, "With your cousin?"
Oh my god.
No, dude.
Well, honestly, you know, if you're enough of an animal to be fucking at 13 in public in a water park, how big of a leap is the cousin at that point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But to clarify, the cousin and the kid weren't fucking. It was like he was fucking a girl and then his cousin was being fucked next to him.
Oh, okay.
So it's like okay.
Right. Oh, so there's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, actually.
Okay.
Like, sorry for my
nomenclature.
nomenclature
That's the least
there.
disgusting part of the story.
Yeah. So that was a thing that happened.
I just love that. There's just it's just such a situation where there's just no fucking playbook for that. There's nothing in the employee handbook.
That was one of the moments where I was like, I cannot work here anymore. This is not a job that is good for my mental health in any way.
I just love the idea of you having to deal with this situation in your head. You're like, all right, Jackson, remember your training. Like,
they prepared us for this.
Yeah. Oh, I missed it. I guess I.
Do I pour milk on him too, or what?
Yeah, we actually did. That was how we finished.
Start pouring milk, just like, I don't know. It worked last time. Like,
made him stop crying.
God, it's so funny. I remember my freshman year of college. I went to Union, and my freshman year of college, they won the NCAA's for hockey, and it was really sick. We had there was a guy who was on our team, Shaden Ghostus-Bahari, that turned out to be like a really big deal player in the NHL. Nice. Anyway, the weekend that happened, like the parties on campus were just completely insane. And like the street where most parties would happen, most off-campus parties, just got completely filled with it was basically like a parade. It was like a festival. Mm-hmm. And eventually cops came to break it up. Kids resisted, and one of my buddies ended up getting pepper sprayed. And and it's funny because he's the sweetest guy ever. Yeah. He's very much a teddy bear. He's not the kind of kid where you think like, oh, good, I'm glad they subdued him. But there's a video of him that ended up on Barstool of like a friend pouring beer into his eyes and just looking in the camera going, "It's better than nothing."
It's true.
Yeah. That's great, dude.
I was very proud of Union getting some press on that.
That's so sick. I was gonna say, did they pour milk on that hoe? But I guess they didn't.
Yeah. I don't think they had any handy. You know,
we had to run to the store to get milk for this baby.
Oh my god.
And also the infant. No.
It's such a... Yeah.
Cut that. All right, we're going to cut that part out.
Such a diabolical thing to do.
What, pour milk on a baby?
No, that was compassionate.
Yeah, that was the most loving thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, I just can't get past this pepper spray thing. It's so brilliantly...
I still don't understand it. It's just pure terrorism.
It's literally an act of bioterrorism.
It's just pure terrorism. It doesn't successfully really achieve revenge.
I mean, unless your revenge was against like the water park in general.
I guess it did disrupt the water park, so that's I guess never mind. It did achieve revenge.
You guys could have ended
it also traumatized you with having to pour milk.
It didn't really traumatize me. I think that's a fun memory. Oh, okay. I look back on that memory fondly. The baby was the true victim of this, if anything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I suppose if your beef is with like the administration of this water park,
she should have pepper sprayed me.
Yeah.
If anything, it should have just been me.
Oh god. Yeah, pepper spraying sounds like one of the worst things that have happened to you. Like I've heard that getting tased isn't all that bad.
Yeah.
But pepper spray, I really hope I never.
Some people die from tasing though. I don't think anyone dies from pepper spray.
That would feel so good.
I think that's when you have like a pre-existing like heart condition. Like if you're.
Oh, this makes sense.
You know,
yeah. Or if you get them in the wrong spot with them, how does a taser even work? Is it like? Is it like Bluetooth, or do you have to like poke them with something?
It's like a little pin that sticks into you when it hits you.
Yeah, haven't you seen The Hangover? Remember they tased Zach Galifianakis?
No, but I actually did a study on The Hangover.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did an economic research study last semester, actually.
No shit.
On The Hangover 2, because they used Mike Tyson's face tattoo on Ed Helms' character.
Yeah.
And then the tattoo artist who made the tattoo sues the movie for this.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to decide whether or not this is economically rational to do.
Right.
And
on behalf of the person suing, or on behalf of the studio for...
We had to decide if it was fucked up of the studio to use the tattoo without the guy's permission.
Right.
Yeah. Which is a really... I don't think this is funny at all, but it's really an interesting idea because tattoo artists do plagiarism so much. Like,
right.
One of Warner Bros. Arguments, which is not like a real, like, sound legal argument, was just like, you do Batman tattoos.
Yeah.
That's our... We own that. You can't... If tattoos are copyrightable, then you are also violating this.
Yeah. If we apply this...
I assume he lost, right?
No, he won. They settled.
Really?
But he... My estimations say that he made about $2 to $8 million.
Oh shit, dude.
No shit.
And I got a B- on that paper, so that's...
All right, so more like 4 to 6, probably?
Or lower, but who knows?
Well, there is something to be said for how iconic that particular tattoo is.
Yeah.
You know, the Batman logo, you could almost argue is like.
Also, Warner Bros. Didn't
Public
make
domain
the
at this
Batman
point.
logo themselves. Like, that was some, like, comic book artist probably who made that shit.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. They just, like, own the
Yeah,
right.
none of their stuff they...
But also,
actually
the
made,
Mike Tyson face tattoo is like it's like, I don't know what... It's like some, like, Pacific Island tribe inspiration. And that tribe came out during the trial and was like, well, we didn't want you to use our style for the tattoo.
Yeah.
And they were, so it's just all these people being like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it's like, bro, just let Ed Helms have a stupid tattoo in the movie. That's...
Man. Yeah, that is fucking interesting. Because it's just like, you pull the thread of... Like, there's... My favorite ever TED Talk, which isn't saying much. I don't know very many TED Talks. But I really liked... So Mark Ronson, the guy who produced Amy Winehouse's last album and a bunch of shit that we've all surely heard of, he did a TED Talk on sampling and, like, the history of sampling. Because, like, people so commonly will use that as a way to shit on hip-hop, being like, oh, they're just stealing from other shit. It's like, if you start pulling on that thread, you realize, like, every song you've ever heard is stealing from something.
Yeah, and also, like, most art is derivative in some way.
Exactly.
And, like, I took an art history class that was, like, European art from, like, Renaissance to, like, postmodernism. And, like, half of that shit is, like, the same Jesus painting over and over again.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is brilliant. This is... The brushstrokes on this is so brilliant. And you're like, I've seen it before. I saw it in the previous lecture by some other guy.
Right.
And it's like, that's sampling. That's pure sampling right there.
Yeah.
And we should be able to do the same thing with Muhammad. That's the point. Yeah. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Callback.
So a really woke callback on my part.
Yeah.
What's your favorite assassination?
Oh, I mean, yes, Jesus is probably
that's a good one.
Definitely the most impactful.
Yeah, that one really hit close.
The most
to home.
talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about making a splash.
Yeah.
Well, JFK. If you're talking about making a splash.
Yeah. The Jesus one was more of making a steady drip on the onlookers. JFK one is interesting because it's definitely the one that I'm the most curious about. Just because it's like it seems so close to our lifetimes and to like our culture. And anytime I look into it even slightly, like I totally see why conspiracy theories came out of it because like there's so many weird details to it. But yeah, I don't know. It's honestly the reason I was we were mentioning assassinations earlier. The reason I was bringing it up is that I'm surprised that we don't see more of them. That's not an endorsement of it. I'm not calling for any.
Yeah.
At least not right now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can call for it. As long as you don't direct it at someone specifically, just more assassinations would be good.
Just
would be good for this nation.
General call for assassination. Yeah, you can't get me in trouble there.
Yeah, I'm not talking about no one who called President Zelensky President Putin today.
Right. Yeah. Oh God.
Dementia's gonna do that for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that great Shane Gillis bit, like, Biden's the first president you could punch assassinate.
Yeah, it's classic, dude.
But yeah, like, I mean, and again, not calling for this, but like, I was really surprised that, like, with the amount of hate that we've seen directed at Trump and his family in general. I mean, people are literally arguing that he's going to be the end of democracy. You'd think there would at least have been an attempt by now.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there are attempts and they stop them and then don't publicize them because they don't want to inspire people. That might be
does the lack of Trump assassination attempts prove that liberals are pussies?
Yeah.
Does it prove that?
Valid point. Yeah.
I call on Democrats, step up.
Yeah.
Step up, take charge. We can't have weak men like Joe Brandon running this country.
That's a great fucking point. I hadn't considered that. Trump would have been dead a long time ago if any of these pussies owned any
If
guns.
we assassinated Trump, we wouldn't have Biden right now, and the nation would be beautiful. Kamala Harris would be nurturing us with her sweet bosom, and we would all be happy.
Oh, man. It's so... She is in... the position she's in right now is so goddamn funny to me, because imagine how incompetent people must think you are to be looking at Biden and being like, I think he still has a better shot.
A little better than Harris.
He literally can't get through a sentence
It's also
saying
awesome.
something stupid. And
It's awesome how they make her like still support him, even though she has like a career in politics and she's still like mentally coherent. She has to be like, he had a slow start at the debate.
Yeah. I mean, even that, the way Kenny just said, like, that was very funny. I don't know what it was about that made me laugh. Yeah, even that was like, I remember the way it was reported on, people were like, this is the most stinging rebuke that we've ever seen from a vice president. Like, vice presidents never talk this kind of shit. She was just like, well,
but it's like, you can't, like, what can she say?
Her hands are tied. Yeah. It's kind of a cruel thing to ask her.
I think it is. The Biden situation is kind of awesome because just to think about like the position that Jill Biden's in, where like all she needs to do is like hold a pillow in a position for 3 minutes, and then we get the first black female president ever.
Yeah.
You know, all that power in her hands.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's the one. Honestly, I think there's a case to be made that of anybody in this whole circus, she's the one who deserves the most anger.
Yeah,
because
well,
she's
also
definitely the one keeping him in the race.
Also, for the record, a few months ago, they came out and said that they still have a luscious sex life, which I think at this point is unethical.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think Joe can consent to that. That's fucked up. That's wrong.
Oh my god! The last sexual rumor I heard out of them was that she was banging the Secret Service agents.
She should.
Hilarious.
She definitely should do that. There's no way he's giving out good dick in 2024.
Yeah.
Impossible.
I mean, there would be, not only can he not consent, but I mean, considering how fucking frail he is, it's wildly irresponsible. Like, he gets on top of him, he just breaks every bone in his body. Like,
if her pussy assassinates Joe Biden,
he has a heart attack.
It'd be the greatest presidential exit of all time.
Honestly, I mean, I can hardly imagine. I can hardly imagine a better way to go out. You know.
Oh, it's the best way to go out, certainly, but
fucking your would-be assassin wife.
Yeah. Or what if he wins the next election, and then dies after, like, as soon as they say he won?
Dude, that's happened before.
Actually, Mac Miller prophesied that on that song.
That happened to Mac Miller,
I'm gonna go out the same way I came in, right by the pussy with nothing on my mind.
That was about Joe Biden.
Yes. R.I.P. Mac.
The prophet.
Yeah. Forever relevant. Forever relevant. Yeah, dude.
Sorry, I had to get that.
I forget which president it was. They covered it in the Louis C.K. Shane Gillis Presidents episodes, which, by the way, if you haven't seen those, so fucking good.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
That's okay. No matter how long I vape for, I will always do that cough every time I take my first drag.
My vape just almost assassinated Jackson.
Yeah. I almost got punch assassinated by a vape.
But yeah, there was a president who specifically, like, he wrote himself like a multiple hour inaugural
I know the
speech.
motherfucker you're talking. I don't know who, but
he got pneumonia, right?
Yeah, he got pneumonia and died.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the length, much like Biden is doing right now with these press conferences, the length of the speech was meant to prove how
virile he was.
Yeah. There was also a guy who ate too many cherries and drank too much milk.
What?
After an event.
Really?
Like, and he died.
Dude,
Like,
that's so awesome.
Yeah. Cherries and I'm gonna Google it. Cherries and milk. I'm completely serious. He was just like, man, these are.
Wait,
fucking
why do we
good.
actually have a history of weak ass presidents? That's
Cherries
awesome.
and milk?
Cherries and milk president.
I mean, it's funny. We have what's the deal with
Zachary
Taylor died.
Dude, it would be
unexpectedly
Zachary Taylor, that fucking motherfucker.
after
piece of
eating a
shit.
large helping of raw cherries and ice cold milk. So
Was
yeah.
Zachary Taylor the guy who was before?
It was Harrison who died of pneumonia.
Of pneumonia, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, you take the bad with the good. We have badass presidents. We have like the Reagans and Teddy Roosevelts who like get shot. Like Teddy Roosevelt got shot mid-speech and finished the speech.
Yeah.
Just
But
like, ugh, all right, where was I? Like,
he's no Joe Biden though.
no, yeah. Teddy Roosevelt would be a better president now.
Yeah,
Like if
probably.
we could dig up his body,
Or just get like an AI.
fucking A, dude.
We should have ChatGPT become the next president. Loki.
Hey, I mean, honestly, like, Joe Biden's, like, the only thing he's capable of doing at this point, and he's barely capable is a stretch, but, like, is reading off a teleprompter, which is a speech written by staffers who are probably using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's honestly, we're not that far off.
Yeah. Dude, I was talking to one of my coworkers today, who's like she has another job where she's like a TA at like some school, and she was like, we can tell exactly when you're using ChatGPT, and I was like, but like, what if they're good at it? Like, then
Yeah.
you can't tell. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, dude. It's I mean, I think the problem is like, well, what was funny to me in the beginning when this first started happening is like the gall of just the audacity of some students that would have ChatGPT write them like a 20-page paper on just every detail of like the Napoleonic Wars and then hand it in and the teacher would be like,
Yeah,
okay,
I guess
who is
with
Napoleon?
history
And
it's
they're
a
like,
little
"What?"
with history it's a little bit different
Yeah.
because it's like you gotta have like a nuanced take on this or whatever, and ChatGPT is just gonna tell you just straight facts like it always does.
It would be
Yeah.
so goddamn funny for it to. I mean, much like the AI that's getting the most flack for this, I think, is the Google Gemini AI. Like their AI has some crazy takes.
Oh,
Basically,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Elon Musk is worse than Hitler and shit like that. Like just stuff that's not even intentionally. It'd be so goddamn funny to hand in a paper.
Like
Yeah,
I googled,
yeah.
I was googling it for advice, and it told me to pour milk on a baby.
Well, I was right about something.
It told me to do that.
But it just makes me laugh so much imagining somebody like having AI write them a paper, not reading the paper, just handing it in, and then getting called to the principal's office like, so why are you calling for genocide? Like, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
I just wanted a unique take.
Yeah, forgive me for pushing boundaries. It's like, here I am just blue sky thinking amongst friends.
Oh, the woke mob comes for essays now. Okay.
Oh, man.
Shit.
That is so funny to me as like a go-to for people getting canceled. I think we probably talked about this with Russell Brand, like him getting canceled and instantly being like, well, the woke mob, you know.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he
It's
get canceled for?
For like raping chicks.
Oh, okay.
And so,
Yeah,
but
you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're just not. You're just not.
Yep,
There's
that's one of the laws.
excuse. Yeah, I love that Louis bit. Like, there's no excuse for rape unless the woman in question won't have sex with you. In which case, then like, what else are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like not have sex with her. That's no solution. But no, he rebranded, no pun intended, as like a conservative firebrand before any of this happened. So it was like a preemptive move.
Yeah.
So he could then say like, "Fucking woke comes again." Oh.
Wow.
I think he wanted the woke to be the reason. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he didn't want the
Yeah.
reason to be his numerous crimes.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if you know, because oftentimes these guys will know ahead of time that the article's being
It's
written,
coming out.
that it's
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out. So it's like to nip that in the bud by just being like,
Because usually
you
the
know what?
reporters like ask them for like comment and shit, and they're like, "We're gonna drop this on like April 27th," and then you're like, "I gotta stop being woke."
Yeah.
By then,
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the deadline.
I gotta say something real poignant before that happens.
Yeah.
Jackson, speaking of poignant, I wanted to know why I heard that your nickname is Jackson.
Okay.
Go get me the plunger, Watts.
Okay.
Yes, Jackson, tell us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Believe it or not another water park story.
Not another water park story. But
Water
folks,
out of his ass story.
Let me tell you about a the woke mob coming for Jackson Watts. Frankly, let me tell you about the woke mob coming for me. There was a show, a comedy show, just what I do, what we all do. I was performing stand-up comedy, and our beautiful host Eddie O happened to be there as well. And before the show, I was, doing my business. I was in the bathroom, shitting it up, and
as you do.
Come time to flush, lo and behold, toilet don't do that. I try flushing again, doesn't work. I try flushing again, doesn't work. Toilet starts overflowing. Not my problem anymore. I leave the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right? As I'm leaving the bathroom, a couple, presumably from the audience, walks into the bathroom, single person bathroom. I know what this couple's doing, and I know what I've just done in this bathroom, so I know I'm ruining their time, and I'm worried that they won't enjoy me as much in the show. So I walk from the bathroom to the comedians, and I say, I've made a terrible mistake. I have really dampered the mood in the lavatory space with my fecal actions.
Do you think they were doing drugs in the bathroom, or do you think they were doing what 13-year-olds do at water parks?
I think they were doing a little bit of both.
Right,
I think
nice.
they were trying to get a baby to pour milk on, if you know what I'm saying.
I really like this. One of my favorite parts of the story, just from my personal perspective, is that this was my first ever paid gig doing comedy.
Yeah.
So I was pretty nervous. It was like a big night for me.
Yeah.
And nothing could have calmed me down more effectively than Jackson just like shuffling out of the bathroom like, dude. Just quietly, like, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
I won't say it on stage.
So
necessarily.
I told all of the comedians about that, which is good because comedians, they don't talk at all. They don't talk shit. They would never spread something. You can tell them something.
Other than publicly on a recorded podcast.
Yeah, other than public on a recorded podcast. So I tell all the comedians there. And then I go on stage, I perform, I see this couple. Obviously I'm mostly focusing on this couple during the set. Honestly, they loved it. They loved me. I don't know if they didn't realize the connection between the situation and the my beautiful performance.
Like, yeah, this guy does big things.
like this
He's
guy
going places.
This guy really saved our night, We are gonna fuck at home now after this guy.
It is a tough position to be in when you're leaving that bathroom because, like, you take the risk of, like, because if you go, like, oh, it's clogged, it was clogged when I got in there.
Also, for the record, there was no plunger in the bathroom. I would have tried to unclog it if there was one. Frankly, I blame God for that.
Yeah.
For giving me a big shit with no plunger. That's fucked up of him to do that.
Yeah.
But I get that we all have our battles, It's like what Leibniz said about the omnipotent and good gracious God, still chose a world with evil and chaos because that allows the most beauty. And that's why we're discussing the shit story now. It's just like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I perform, I get off stage, I think this is a thing of the past. And then I go outside because I had another gig to go to, so I had to call an Uber to go to the second gig. And while I'm waiting for this Uber, there's this other comedian, Raul, standing outside. I deliver my tale to him.
Friend of the pod.
My harrowing tale. Friend of the pod, Raul Byron. And I leave for my gig. Great gig, by the way. I had a few of my college friends come out to it. It was at the Smile High Club down in Chinatown. And I destroyed. It was awesome. It was a peak of the night. I forgot about the shit thing, frankly. I forgot about the shit thing because of this night. And I forgot about it for weeks. And then I think Nick Ferreira, maybe it was you, a couple weeks later, and they're like, Raul told that story on stage after you left about you shitting in the toilet and clogging the toilet. And I was like, oh, I did tell him that right before he was going to go on stage. So this would be a making of my own my own
You made
work.
your own bed.
Making of your own.
I shat in my own bed and I forgot to wipe in it.
Well, I'm glad it happened, man. I mean, one of the reasons we wanted you on the podcast is to tell that story. So basically, had you not dropped such an epic bomb in the bathroom at this store, I mean, like, would I have ever learned about the chick that pepper sprayed a bunch of people at this water park? Like,
You would have. I clog a lot of toilets. This would have happened down the road.
It would have happened eventually.
This would have happened. It's happened many times now, so I just keep my mouth shut.
Oh.
You know, I just keep trucking. Yeah, but that's my side of the story. I don't know what the other people have to say about it. I know Nick Ferrer was talking shit. You know, that dirty dog.
Yeah. He's not gonna let you forget that.
He's never gonna let me forget that. He punches me in the stomach every time he sees me, just to try to get me to shit again.
I haven't shit myself in public.
I didn't shit myself. Okay, let's not.
No. I know.
Let's
I know.
not.
I'm pivoting the discussion here. I'm not trying to fake news you.
Okay.
The woke mob strikes
The
again.
woke mob strikes again.
Haven't they done enough?
Yeah, Jackson Watts shits in public.
Well, I do in public restrooms.
Yeah, shits himself in public. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't think I have as an adult, at least.
Really?
Unless
what about
I
like
forget.
sharding? What do you think counts as a shard? Does a shard have to have like sustenance, or can it just be like a little bit of shit?
Enough. I think it's probably enough that like your day is interrupted. You have to make choices.
Yeah, prominent
You know what I mean?
amount of shit, I would say.
What if it's like a
Right.
fart where you need to wipe like 30 minutes later?
That's nothing.
Okay,
That's
okay.
nothing.
That's not a shot.
I had one of those 10 minutes ago.
Okay, I was gonna say I
That's-
have those a lot.
Yeah.
Don't know
I'm
what that
doing one right
means
now.
for me.
Yeah.
It's coming up on your 30 right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. But yeah, I would say a shart is like the line that gets crossed is like you have to make some kind of game time decision. You know, you got to
Yeah.
You gotta apologize to whoever's around you.
You got to start blaming other people.
start blaming other people.
You've got to get really good at gaslighting.
Yes,
in that
yeah.
moment. You got to swap underwear with someone. Be like,
Find the
please, let's
nearest-
just trade. My underwear's better than your underwear. I promise you.
Yeah, if these sheath underwear, dude, you can put your balls and your dick in a different pouch.
I should have
Try these
blamed
out.
someone else for the clogged toilet. I should have been like, Juan Bustos clogged that toilet. Did you guys hear?
Yeah. That's the risk that I was talking about earlier. Is you risk getting instantly hit with the he who smelt it. You know.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You gotta
That is
think.
true.
You gotta think tactically here, Jackson.
I should have just not said anything.
Yeah.
Because really, I was
Or
the
you
situation
could-
was I clogged this toilet and I became like anxious about it. I was like, oh fuck, I just clogged a toilet at this gig. That's fucked up of me to do. So I was like, I gotta relieve myself by expunging my sins, by confessing my sins to these other comedians. You know, who were like priests to me at this point, and that made it so much more prominent of an issue.
You know what you definitely should have done is just stayed in the bathroom. Just
should've
stayed in
been
the
like,
just
Juan, can
lock the
you
door.
give me the microphone? From in here?
Get a wireless mic, do your set from the bathroom, nobody can see you.
Yeah,
And just refuse to acknowledge it.
I would have crushed.
You
That's
would have
great,
crushed.
dude.
You honestly would have crushed. That gimmick would have worked. People would have been like, "Oh, this is a hilarious bit he's doing, not
Yeah.
just his inability to control his bowels."
Yeah,
Like-
which I can control them. They just once they're loose in the world, once my bowels are loose in the world, they will destroy. They will
Yeah.
destroy things,
Mm.
and I want them to do that. So it's still under my control. But
Like Bruce Lee's fists
yes,
register as lethal weapons.
it's
My
my
ass cheeks.
sphincter. Yeah,
Oh.
there's one in the same.
Yeah, he's got Hiroshima and Nagasaki on each side of his ass. Can let him drop at any time, dude.
It's interesting that that Rogan in his new comedy club he named the two rooms after like
The bombs.
The bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
that's
Fat Man
that's
and the Little
tasteful.
Boy.
That's good.
I mean, the idea
Well, it's
is
for the
that
bomb of comedy, I think, is
Yeah,
why
yeah.
he did that.
I think it's
for
also
people
because,
bombing and-
I mean, the theme of the place is obviously aliens and like spaceships and shit.
Yeah.
And apparently, like the sites of the nuclear explosions and of just like the building of the nuclear bombs has a lot of like alien lore attached to it. Like,
Aliens hate the Japanese. I've always said that.
yeah. Apparently, yeah. Or they were just fascinated that we pulled it off, and so they went to go check it out. They're like, "Holy shit!"
Damn, dude. Yeah.
These guys really hate each other. But yeah, I thought that was a little. I don't know if I like taste wise. I don't know
Yeah.
if I agreed with that. Like if I was Japanese, I'd be like, Wait a second.
Yeah. I guess he's buying a fuck. Why do I not have the word now? What did he say he was buying on that episode?
A theater?
A theater. There we go. Yeah, he's buying a theater in Austin now, and then he's going to do a second club after that.
Sick.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
He's making a chain.
Dude,
like McDonald's for comedy.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, yeah.
The Rogan empire is crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember being curious as to when he first moved to Austin, like, how many people were going to follow him. It's incredible.
It's so many more than I ever
it's
thought.
It's so many more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it seems like half of LA comedy at this point.
Mm-hmm. And some of New York now.
Yeah. Yeah. It is funny. Somebody was saying, like, I think, like, Tim Dillon was saying, like, people are going because they think they're going to save money in taxes. It's like, you are homeless. Like, you don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You just think you're going to get on Rogan because you show up there. It's like,
yeah.
He doesn't know
That
who you
should
are.
be how it works, by the way. I'd move out there if they were doing that.
Right, yeah.
Definitely. Which I heard they
Joe
might
Rogan
be.
should be at the airport greeting all the comedians that come into Austin.
You know, I went to LA for the first time in April or May or March. One of the three. You pick. Whichever works best for you.
It was a month in the spring.
It was a month in the spring.
Right.
And I went there, and I get off the plane, and I go to the bathroom to shit. That's one of the main things that I do, as we've discussed. Hold on, getting a call from Rohan. And I go to the bathroom to shit. I come out of the bathroom. Who is standing across from the bathroom, looking directly at me? Because obviously he was waiting for me this whole time. But Anthony Jeselnik.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No shit.
And I looked at him, and I was like, it was like hot. It was like probably one of those later months that I gave you. So it was like hot outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that Anthony Jeselnik? I was like, no way I'm seeing Anthony Jeselnik. It was like the first thing in LA that I ever see.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, but who else would be looking exactly like Anthony Jeselnik wearing a leather jacket in like
100 degrees,
springtime LA? And so I went up to him and I was like, Jeselnik? And he just looked at me and he went, oh, yeah. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm a huge fan. Nice to meet you. Not going to be weird. And I just shook his hand and walked away.
That's perfect, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good interaction.
That's a perfect Justin
Yeah.
encounter.
I was like, I'm glad that he was sort of hateful of me for recognizing him. That feels like what he should do
Yes.
in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, it would be like if you met Larry David and he was like a calm and considerate person.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
You'd be like, hey.
Yeah. And then
Don't lie
Do
to
the
me.
thing, dude.
Yeah, do the thing.
then I saw Jeselnik at the Wilbur like a month later. Because I was
Dude,
supposed to.
he sold that place out like 15 times. Or something.
Yeah. Well, he had shows back in December, but he canceled like 3 of them because he got COVID. And I was supposed to go to one of those with my friend Clay, who was in LA the second semester. So that's why I was visiting. And he couldn't go to the second one, so one of my other friends came with me. But we got like, since the show got canceled, we got like priority access to the seats, and we got to like buy tickets for like cheap anywhere in the theater.
Nice.
And so we had like almost front row seats on the like ground floor at the Wilbur. And so the whole show, I was looking right at Anthony Jeselnik. He was looking right at me, and I was like, "You remember? You definitely remember. We're best friends. I'll talk to you after the show." And he didn't stick around for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Doesn't seem like a big meet and greet guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited for his new hour, man. I haven't seen. I
It's
didn't
pretty
see him on
good.
the tour.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
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 Dude, that Sam Morril special was fucking really good.
It's
I
great.
still haven't watched it. I saw
it's
the
so
tape.
good,
I was
dude.
at the taping.
No.
So like,
so you saw it in
I've
person.
seen the special, but
okay.
I want to watch the actual
Yeah, no, it's
special
really,
too,
it's
also.
really, really good, dude.
He fucked up like the first bit at the taping that I was at, and then he or maybe it was the second one, but one of like the first bits he fucked up, and then he went, okay, that's not how I'm supposed to do it. I'm just gonna start it again, and we're just gonna do this. And he just like started it again and did the joke again, and the momentum was like lost because of that sort of, but it was like.
For that one joke,
It
or
was
for the
No,
whole
just
set?
for the one joke, because
okay.
he said like the punchline, and then he like fucked up the punchline, so he was like, I have to say it again with the punchline correct, but it's like we already sort of know where the joke's going at this point.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see him be like, oh fuck, I messed it
Yeah.
up, and I was at the last taping too, so it was like he had to nail that.
He really had to get that
Yeah.
right. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I don't have any like really vivid memories of thinking like, oh, being at a comedy show and thinking like, oh, this person just fucked this up. Like,
yeah. Because usually you can't tell. Because if he would have just kept going,
right,
it would have been like, it was still like funny.
Right.
But it's like, it's not exactly what he wanted it to be. It's not like the like perfected version of the joke. And he like wanted that for the special.
Right.
It's like cool to see him be
well,
like,
he's also
not
like
good enough.
meticulous as fuck with like how he writes his jokes. So that makes sense.
It does make sense. And it kind of, if you're recording a special, it kind of doesn't matter how hard you kill, you know?
This
like,
is true.
If the audience,
that's also true, definitely.
Yeah. If the audience didn't get it the first time around, like, whatever. You just pump the volume on the laughs.
Like a lot of the Mitch Hedberg specials, he's bombing.
Yeah.
And you're like, so?
There's a Justin Nick show where, there's a Justin Nick special where he's bombing, I think. I think it might be Thoughts and Prayers. Which is crazy to me because that's one of my favorite specials of all time.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. There's also one where like his collar is like popped out of his jacket.
Really?
He clearly, it's just this very small like wardrobe malfunction.
Huh.
And it's just funny.
Fire in the maternity ward, right?
No, it's an old one.
It was one of the
old
ones. Was it either Caligula or Shakespeare? Because I own those two on vinyl, so I never watch it with like the visual. But like,
it was one of those, I think. Yeah.
Those ones are awesome, dude.
He's always been awesome. He has some of the tightest joke writing, like, of like, I can't find my girlfriend's murderer.
Yeah.
Nobody will do it.
He has this joke.
So
I think it's in Caligula about Casey Anthony, where he's like, Casey Anthony's on trial, and I think she's innocent. If she's guilty of anything, it's killing her baby. I love that joke so much.
Oh my god. Yeah, his. I mean, we could just quote Justin.
Yeah, I could tell Anthony and Justin. He has this other joke where he's like, when I was in high school, I ran for class president against a girl in a wheelchair, and she won by a landslide, but only because I had a really negative campaign. The rest of this podcast is just me shittily telling Anthony Jeselnik jokes.
Dude, I've probably told this story before, but I ran for a class. One of the moments in my life, like pre-comedy, that has made me feel like I was destined to at least try this in my life is that like I ran for class vice president when I was in high school, and like we had to submit speeches to the faculty beforehand that followed all the guidelines that they wanted, which basically meant that all the speeches ended up being exactly the same. Like I'm a good student, I show up on time, all this bullshit. Yeah. And so I knew if I did that speech, if all the speeches were the same, then it would just be a popularity contest, which I probably wouldn't win. So I was like, okay, I have to do something else. So I wrote the speech that they wanted to hear. I submitted that, and then I just wrote my own, which was literally just a series of Anchorman references. Like I just I got up, because before the internet, like this is all we had was Anchorman. You know? Remember that dark time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just got up on stage and was like,
I love Lamp, like stuff like that.
Literally, yeah. I mean, I didn't say I love Lamp. I just said
I'm gonna work 70% of the time, all the time, something like that.
Basically, yeah.
Right. If you didn't use those two, I'm upset with you.
I said, you should probably get to know me. I'm kind of a big deal. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Nice.
I love poetry and a good glass of scotch, and my dog Baxter. I'm saying this into like the faculty. I'm killing. I'm fucking murdering. Yeah. And I ended up winning in a landslide. And the kid I ran against like took a mental health day the next day.
Wow.
Because he was so annoyed at like I'd like completely not taking it seriously at all.
I remember
that's a big one.
People were like, hell yeah.
I ran for president of the National Honor Society when I was in high school, and I won pretty easily. Like I did my speech. It was a recorded speech, and my speech was me sitting in my car after track practice, sweaty, just drenched, just talking for 2 minutes. I was just like, I'm the best. I'll destroy this. I will easily defeat. You don't want Maya in the house. You don't want her to win. And I won so easily. And the person who I was running against, her older sister, was the sitting president. And one of my friends was the sitting vice president. And he said, Jackson, when you won, she went to the director of the NHS at our school and was like, can we just not have Jackson be the next president? Can we just not have it be this guy? And they were like, no, democracy, we have to have this guy be the president. And so I told my mom I won National Honor Society president, and she was like, that's so fucked up, you would take that away from that poor girl.
See, this is why
I was like, thank you for being such a supportive mother.
This is why I feel so crazy for being surprised when Trump won. It's like there's a clear pattern here,
Yeah.
which is that people like when somebody doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, people just like it. Like it makes me laugh so much just imagining you in your car just being like, yeah, fuck it, I'm the best. Like what
Yeah, I was like, I'll easily destroy this. I was like, what are you talking about? Of course I'll be a great president.
I'm gonna crush this. I'm honestly a little insulted that I even have to give this presentation. Like,
yeah, I was like, I'm the captain of the speech team. I'm the captain of the track team. Lies, by the way. But it was like, I am, and those things are winning hard. Just look, I'm a winner. You know, I'm a winner.
Just went full Trump.
Yeah, I'm a winner.
Made a bunch of shit up.
Was this pre-Trump? Or
No, it was post-Trump. It was post-Trump, but
Yeah.
I had a big inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically copy and pasted, dude.
Yeah. Fuck.
That's great.
It'd be hilarious to see him covered in sweat in his car, just shitting on Biden.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
I mean,
he's like, I just ran.
We do have videos of that.
He's like, I
It's
just ran
like,
7 miles.
This is him covered in sweat in his golf cart.
Yeah,
Like, talking
true.
shit about Biden on the golf course. Literally, there's a video that went around the other day where he was like, "Oh, Biden, what a fucking disaster." Am I right? He's like playing golf. And like people, and of course the Democrats, they make this mistake every time they circulate this. Like, oh, people are gonna hate Trump now. Everybody commenting is like, this guy rules.
Hell yeah,
Like,
dude.
yeah, hell yeah.
No, I mean, like, I don't like Trump technically. Like, I would never vote for Trump. I don't like any of his things that he supports. But he's kind of epic. Just
Yeah.
the guy that he
Yeah.
is. But I guess I'm probably going to have to write in, like, Kenny Sparrow for this next election,
Yes,
honestly.
let's get
Low
Kenny
key.
elected.
Are you 35 or
Nope.
No, fuck. Damn it.
I'm voting for RFK for sure because we live in Massachusetts, our vote doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may as well vote.
I'm gonna
for
hit an
him.
RFK also, probably.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But yeah,
sorry.
I feel the same way about Trump. I think like, yeah, a lot of people probably feel this way privately and don't want
Or actually, honestly, voting for Biden would be pretty epic at this point. I do like the idea of voting for a man with severe dementia. That would
Yeah, no, we can just
that would
have, like,
make my
a-
grandmother happy. I think.
We
to
can have
know I
like a
people like-
Deadpool for all the comics of how how long he's gonna last
Honestly,
in the second term.
Nah, I think he goes all the way.
No,
I think he goes all the way,
dude.
keeps getting worse.
dude. I mean, that
I don't see him
Watch
lasting
him
another
die
4
tomorrow.
the way he's deteriorated from 2020 to now, dude.
Yeah,
I don't see him
yeah.
lasting another 2 years.
It's so crazy because we all know, even the people who are the most deluded about him, like even if they think he will survive a second term,
Yeah.
the idea of where his brain is going to be at by the end of those 4 years, if he's still alive, it's like,
Bro, he's gonna be like fucking.
I think honestly, no one thinks he's gonna be like cognizant and able to survive. They're just like, he's the guy that we chose, so we have to support him.
right? Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah,
No, he's gonna be like Jason Momoa's character. In
We should run
fucking
Jason Momoa. I'm voting for
First
Jason
season
Momoa.
of
yeah. Khal
Game of
Drogo.
Thrones, dude.
Khal Drogo,
Yeah, Khal
Can we
Drogo.
not run Obama again?
No, he already did too.
People have talked pretty seriously.
Yeah,
about
someone's
Michelle.
changing the. I heard people talking about changing the rule back to you could do as many terms as you want.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Have Biden do 3 more.
8 more years.
That would be epic.
Oh man.
We just
I
pour
don't
some,
think
we just
Michelle
pour
would
some
win
milk
either.
on his face. He's okay.
I mean, the polling is interesting. Like, well, I forget whether I saw that she would win or just that she would definitely do better than Biden. Those are the ones I'm getting mixed up. I know, like, Kamala is looking like she would do better than Biden.
Yeah,
Why don't they run Kamala then?
I think they just don't want to, dude.
I think Biden is saying no. I think he wants to stay in the race, and I think he is doing that because Jill and Hunter have.
I mean, and also,
deluded
like,
him.
we have to acknowledge it at a certain point. If Biden's refusing to resign after all this, he is insanely egotistical too. Like, it's not.
Yeah, dude.
It's like you have to, at some point, set the pride aside and just be like, I'm ready to retire.
Yeah,
You know, it's like that's ridiculous. Or run Hunter, dude. Low key,
yeah.
I might write in Hunter.
I mean, yeah, dude. You know that's going to be something I'll be interested in seeing after the election is how many people write in Hunter, because it's going to be a non-zero amount. It's going to be probably in the thousands, honestly.
Millions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's going to win.
The Russian bots all swarm.
I think he's going to win like Rhode Island, Connecticut, probably.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Big cocaine states.
But yeah, I think like what they're hoping is best case scenario, Biden wins, and then like literally like the day after the inauguration, he steps down and gives it to Kamala, or they will literally hit him with the thing they were talking about hitting Trump with at the beginning of his term, which the 25th Amendment.
They're talking about doing that shit now. They need to step that up.
I know that would be a wild move if Biden refuses to step down, but the DNC is like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Which they need to, but I don't know if they'll have the balls at this point.
They definitely don't have the balls.
Yeah.
If they had any balls,
No,
they would have killed Trump by now.
Dude, did you see the clip of Gavin Newsom being interviewed about Biden like directly after the debate? Because like Newsom's like one of the like top contenders for like who would replace Biden, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think about the Biden situation?" And he's like, "Oh, Biden's a good candidate," but he's like smiling he's like smiling in a way where he's like, it could happen. He's like, it's so close,
I'm so close
to being me, and you're just.
Gavin Newsom kind of fucking sucks too.
You know, he used to fuck Donald Trump Jr.'s wife.
I did know that.
Yeah.
These circles are so incestuous.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. Yeah, Newsom's funny because he like people openly acknowledge this. Even Democrats, they're like, yeah, he's just tall and handsome.
Yeah, that's all I want.
He's done a horrible job in California. Under his watch, San Francisco has turned into a literal third world country. It's like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but I bet the comedy's so much better.
Maybe.
It's actually not. Actually, California comedy is famously on a decline right now.
Yeah, like
so
really
low-key I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Low-key I don't want that.
Everyone's leaving, dude.
I mean, Rogan left, Elon Musk left, like
comedy legend Elon Musk.
Comedy legend Elon Musk.
His SNL was
his
fucking
type
epic,
5.
dude.
Yeah. But if you just assume, I mean, we know about these guys because they're public-facing figures, but like, presumably that's representative of a massive brain drain out of California. People being like, why am I paying all these taxes if I have to like knife fight my way through the homeless encampments to get to work every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing, and you have to drive so much in LA too. Like one of my friends is trying to get me to move out to LA, and I'm like, it's more expensive. Well, I'm like, I consider it. It's because it's like a cool place to visit.
For sure.
Definitely.
But I'm like, I don't know if living there is necessarily.
I kind of have it in my head that there are certain cities that if one's really serious about comedy or just a career in the arts in general, you got to put in a few years in New York, a few years in LA.
Yeah, I think Chicago is up there too,
Chicago's
and I'm from
up
Illinois,
there.
so I have a little bit of bias towards that. But Chicago might be the move for me next, honestly, because it's like close to home. It's Chicago. The comedy scene's like epic as hell.
Would you consider trying to do something like Second City or?
I'd be down. I've never like done anything aside from stand up comedically.
Yeah, nor have I, and I don't really have any.
I guess I did like sketch and like.
Casey was saying that in Chicago, Casey Crawford, we had him on the last ep.
Yeah.
He was saying something about that there's a theater there that they have an open mic at with like an audience.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of these cities that aren't
that's
Boston have like
sick,
a scene
dude.
where you can actually like get up at places.
Like,
and,
cool places.
Yeah, and like.
Not in the lobby of Laugh Boston.
Yeah.
That shit bothers me immensely. Yeah. Why?
It's like, bro, you don't want to open mics have clips of them performing on the Laugh Boston stage. It doesn't matter at all. Like, it's gonna be a bad clip of them performing. It won't matter if that's what you're worried about.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like what Rogan was talking about with like, I'm gonna have open mics and shit and kill Tony and whatnot at my club to cultivate the local scene. And Laugh Boston's just actively
and that's what
the opposite.
that's one of the things
it from happening.
That's one of the things that makes me want to move out to LA is because my buddy, he used to do like some stand up in Boston, but he was like, I'm doing like mostly like bar and like basement of some restaurant stuff. He's like, I don't like this. But then you move out to LA and there's like clubs that have like open mics. You can go to the club, you do the open mic, then the booker sees you because the booker's actually there. Unlike like the clubs that have mics in Boston, the booker is not there for the actual club, so it's like it doesn't even matter.
Not when
that
the
you're
studio
doing
comes
this.
out.
The studio
booker will be
Yeah.
there most of the time. So.
Yeah. Cool. But that's
shout out the comedy
it hasn't
studio.
it
It's
hasn't
coming
arisen
very
yet.
soon, dude.
Shout out to the studio though.
Doesn't half the Boston scene like get boycotted or something?
No, that's bullshit. No,
Nah, not
no,
anymore, dude.
there's no way. There's no way.
Dude, they're gonna suckle the teat of whoever's running that
I
thing,
hope
dude.
they fucking do.
Yeah.
More stage
Yeah.
time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
But
yeah.
like he was telling me about like LA, you can just like go to Flappers, do the open mic, then you get to perform on Flappers if you crush the open mic. And it's like, oh, then you're like actually in the scene and you're like actually able to like do something sort of fast. And it's like
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that makes me want to go out there, but then it's like also have to pay a lot more money because he was telling me about like his rent's like fucking 50% higher than my rent. And I'm like, my rent is already too expensive in Boston, and it's which Boston's not a cheap city to live in, but
No. Especially where you live, dude. You live in a nice...
I mean, it's not.
Nice
There's
area.
full
Where
of
do you
black
live?
mold. It's a very disgusting apartment. Technically, there's no centralized.
It's in Brooklyn. I mean the area, though.
The area,
The
though, yeah,
location.
yeah, that's
Brooklyn's
true.
nice.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's very nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're a little over an hour here, fellas.
Do you want to...
You have anything to plug?
Do you have anything to plug? Follow me on Instagram at the Jackson Watts. Oh, you said this comes out next week. What day?
Probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll be at Dot Tavern on the 18th.
That is Thursday.
That is Thursday. I'll be at the Garrison House in Brookline on the 28th.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, I'm trying to remember all the spots that I have for the end of this month right now. I have, there's not that many. It's not like it's that many to remember. But I have another one that I should remember. Oh, I'll be at Laugh Boston on the 25th for a comedy competition.
Cool.
Which should be pretty epic. And then I'm
Hell yeah.
doing the Burn on the 31st. But mostly follow me on Instagram at the Jackson Watts. It's pretty epic stuff. You're gonna love that shit.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, and Crossbones Comedy. Obviously, that's the comedy production company that I run. Currently, we don't have a venue that we're producing at, but we're working on it. We have an idea, and we've run.
It comes
shows
in
the
ebbs and
past.
flows, dude.
We
you know?
we run shows, then we stop running shows, and we start running shows. But it's a good time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Go to Kill Tiny on July 19th. And Grand 10 Distilling on the 26th. Tiny's headlining that also. So
Hell yeah. All right, boys.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackson.
Oh,
Thanks,
you're so
man.
welcome.
Fuck yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Pour milk on a baby.
You believe it? This ain't nothing without it. Don't let them keep